Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you. Another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks. Sampler review series videos I've been doing for a little while. I'll go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff. Then, folks, I'm gonna talk about stuff. I'm gonna let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not gonna lie. That was definitely one of my most epic snaps. I think if you watch my videos, I think you go back, you watch them all. That was a pretty damn good one, I think. But anyway, folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm going to yammer on about for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. And whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. So what super cool shirt am I wearing today? Well, folks, boom, it's my Battle Arena Toshinden shirt, which, if you are unfamiliar with the fighting game, 3D weapons-based fighting game franchise that was, yeah, we'll say was. I mean, I guess, they still exist in reality. That is Battle Arena Toshinden. That's okay. Battle Arena Toshinden has not been relevant in decades. It came out, it was like one of, if not the first, 3D based fighting games that centered around weapon combat. It wasn't the first 3D fighter by any means, but it was like the first one where that was like the main crux of what you were doing in the combat. I ended up finding out about it not even through the 3D games. It actually was through their 2D Game Boy game, which not only is a great fighting game for the Game Boy, but it might be the best version of the first game because it has like the most story and it goes into it. You get like a lot of cool characters and stuff that you don't get in the other games. It's a really good game. When I found out, a few years later, that, oh wait, it actually started out on the PlayStation, which is my favorite video game system of all time. Of course, I had to go over there and get my copy of it. I actually had to eventually buy another copy of it because I lent it to somebody and it had the booklet with it, and then when they gave it back, it didn't have the booklet. And it bugged the piss out of me, so eventually I just got one for cheap. But anyway, Battle Arena Toshinden, I like it a lot. It's a fun game. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? What's going on? Well, folks, I have been meaning to review this place for a while. It is a favorite spot of mine that I do not go to nearly enough, especially considering how much I like it. But it's just one of those things where, I don't know, it just doesn't come into my focus as much as it should, just probably because I just hit up so many places. But it's a place called, do I actually have a little menu thing or anything? No, they didn't give me one. All right, well, what the hell ever. It's a place called the Kebab House. What am I reviewing from the Kebab House? One of my favorite things. Boom! It's their lentil soup, which the only problem with doing these reviews in the truck is there's no way for me to make this look sexy. But they have a banging ass lentil soup, and every time I go there, I get it. Their lentil soup, by the way, consists of red lentils imported from Turkey with herbs and spices. It's $4.99 for a cup, $6.99 for a bowl. This is effectively a cup. You get, or a bowl. You get two things. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about, because it did look like they'd changed up their menu from the last time that I, ordered from there. I hope they kept the recipe the same. There's a specific ingredient that I need to be there for it to be that full experience. Also, I just have to mention this. I ordered this through Grubhub. Two things. Number one, I did not realize how freaking high up Grubhub jacks up the price. It's ridiculous. If I didn't have a gift card, not a chance in hell. I'm not using Grubhub just on its own. It's way, way too much. Other thing is, I always go over there and list, hey, please, put utensils in the bag. I never get them. I'm just going to not at this point because clearly everybody's ignoring that little request of mine. But that's fine. Not a huge deal. Open. Please. I have to be careful. All right. There we go. All right. I love soup. Soup is good. Please be the same recipe. Let's give it a go. Maybe. right. Well, oh man. All right. Well, okay. All right. First of all, it's good. It's very good. Even with my forthcoming criticisms, I do really, really like this. It is one of those things, like, because lentil soup isn't anything fancy. You know, it's a pretty, yeah, I mean, I couldn't fucking make it, but it's a pretty simple thing overall. But you need to use good ingredients. You need to do it properly. One of the things I really like about the Kebab House, they always use great ingredients. Everything always tastes super fresh, and you can taste the quality of what they're putting in there. And that's very much the case with the soup. You can taste the lentils. There's a little bit of like almost like a slight tanginess, like a little bit of a sourness, not too much, just a little bit. And then you get like just sort of the earthiness of the lentils. It's a very simple, very filling dish. It's cooked extremely well, or well, made extremely well. It is fantastic. I really, really, really like their lentil soup. However, I'm having a hard time not eating it, by the way. That's how good it is. However, here's the thing. The reason why I've always been such a big, 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 big fan of Kebab House's lentil soup, and the reason why I was worried, it's because when I went to go check their description of it, it wasn't listed anymore. And that is that in all of my previous times having their lentil soup, they add mint to it. And just a little bit, just to go over there and give it like this nice sort of contrast to the tanginess and the earthiness. It like freshens it up. And I love that. Like to the extent where their lentil soup, and I even told them this at one point, flat out my favorite lentil soup I've ever had. Because not only is it just extremely well made, and again, you can just taste the ingredients, everything about it's really good. It's a really good soup, but that added mint really went over there, and for me, that just brought it up to that next level. That little addition. I mean, I love mint anyway, but just that little thing went over there and it just opened up the soup, and it made it like this extremely wonderful thing that I loved so much. And it does not appear that they're using the mint anymore. If they are, it is in such a limited capacity that I really wasn't able to pick up on it very much. I kind of was hoping maybe it was like blending in with the tanginess again a little bit, and I was like, maybe? But if I'm having to struggle that much when in every other instance where I've had it, it's been like full force, like again, not overpowering or anything, but like it's been very evident, so it does seem like they might have gone over there and changed the recipe, which really sucks. I mean, it's still a very good lentil soup. You saw me. I was fucking scarfing the stuff down. I'm gonna eat the shit out of this. But the problem that I run into now is that it's still a very good lentil soup. It's still a very good soup overall, but now instead of being in that upper tier, that really, really, really special tier for me, it's been dipped below, I mean, two questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, I'll say this, if they change the recipe back, 100% I will get it again. If they don't, if they decide to keep it as is, it is, again, still a very good soup. But the problem that I personally run into is that I'm always going to have those memories of when it was this, favorite thing of mine. Whereas now, even though it's still very good, it's lesser. So there's kind of that, lacking attachment to it, that, emotional investment in the soup. Yeah. I mean, I'd probably get it again occasionally as an appetizer, because again, it's still super good. It's still a really good, tasty soup. But it went from being something that literally every time that I have gone to Kebab House, I have gone over there and ordered this soup, regardless of what else I ordered. Now it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be sporadic. It's going to be, because it's not quite as good as that sucks. If I'm recommending it, though, if you're not in the situation that I am, where I have that nostalgia for the original recipe and that, that lovely little hint of mint, then absolutely, it's a great fucking soup. It's really tasty, and it's one of those things where it's simple, but because they use really good ingredients and everything, it elevates the whole experience. It goes well beyond just being a simple lentil soup. It's really tasty and really filling and good. It's still really good. So if you, like I said, in this way you kind of benefit compared to me, because again, if you've never had it, well. But anyway, and by the way, since this is a local establishment, it's going to go into my Sampler Platter Local Love playlist, which is just local locations, where I like to try to, go over there and give them a little bit of a shout out when I can. I just like to try out my local scene. But Kebab House, still really good. And now, because I have another thing to try, obviously, I'm going to review something else after this. I'm a little bit worried because, again, it seems like they changed up the recipes a little bit. But we'll see. Anyway, 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of the week, monumental rest of the month, stupendous rest of your folks. You go over there, have yourselves a truly lentil soup with mint-tastic rest of your life. Makes me so sad. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity in the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me, I know it. I live it. I'm out there with you in it. It can be a rough day to day, especially when they go over there and start changing the recipes of your favorite things. Why would you do that? Were people complaining about the mint? Did they just get new cooks? What was going on there? Why? I mean, and don't get me wrong, sometimes, a change of things can be good, but it's always a risk, isn't it? It's important, though, when we deal with situations in our life that may be stressful, frustrating, disappointing, a little bit. Take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, here's what I want you to go out and do. If you ever have been in an instance where you've had some lentil soup, I want you to go over there and I want you to, whoever made it, whether it's you, whether it's someplace else, just be like, hey, maybe add a little bit of a mint thing to it. Yeah, just toss it out there. Just toss it out there. Just so that maybe on a global scale, that can become like part of the dish, so that it's, seen as. So taking it away would be seen as like a food faux pas, if you will. I'm so upset. Even though it's still so good, it's such a tasty thing, but it's like, why did you take it away from me? But anyway, or conversely, I mean, obviously please don't badger anybody about my nonsense personally, but definitely try some lentil soup if you get the opportunity, especially if it's like, from a proper place. Anyway, bye.